Here we are at Scott's in Jack London Square in downtown Oakland. This is another TV show on Oakland Is, and we have with us Choyin Rangdrol, who has been with us for a number of years. I don't really want to count all the number of years, but he began developing his program thrust of Buddhism here, particularly for African Americans here in the Bay Area. I would have to say that he is probably most inspirational in terms of the types of questions that he brought up in the public debate, and we have seen Choyin travel throughout the world. He now resides in Hawaii, and we wanted to just get a little bit of insight because he's been to India, and maybe talk a little bit about his world travels, all in the last, say, 30 days or so. So, Choyin, welcome to the show.
Thanks again for having me.
Well, you know, I wanted to ask you about your travels. Just can you give us a nutshell, a kind of a capsule of just the last, say, 30 days or so?
Well, about 4 years ago, I was asked to go to India to visit the Untouchables, a group of people, about 300 million people in India, who are some consider to be the most oppressed people in the world. And I was able to make that commitment then, and I followed through just recently, and so I've spent about a month in India teaching Buddhism in the untouchable community.
Now, when you say untouchables, and then you kind of say that these are marginalized or people that have been down out, how do you describe the untouchables?
Well, in America, we have racism, and we understand that some of our communities are divided, and some, even our own families, are divided based on race. In India, instead of race, they have what they call caste. And caste is a role that you're assigned for life, for perpetuity, that you cannot get out of. So that means if your father was a street sweeper, you will be a street sweeper, your children will be a street sweeper, and your children's children will be street sweepers. And so this caste system is a immovable job assignment for the rest of your not only your life, but the rest of your progeny's life.
So generations, say 7 generations, 8 generations. How long has this caste system been in place?
Well, some people say about 3,000 years. And of course, the caste system, for those at the top, the engineers, the educators, the Brahmin priests, it works well because they have an opportunity to enjoy the fruits of modernity. But if you're born into not only the lower castes, but there are some people in India who are born in the outside the caste, where you have no hope of ever having any kind of role in society other than, as I said, sweeping the street, picking up dead animals, removing excrement, and all kinds of things like that. Then that is oppression, particularly if you have no hope of ever getting out of it.
Why in the 21st century has this not come to the public's attention, and why is there no outcry, in your opinion?
I think that just like we Americans don't go abroad and share what we did to the Native Americans as part of our marketing campaign of what democracy is in America, India also has a marketing program for their country that does not include the caste system and what happens to people there.
Well, how many people are we talking about that are the untouchables?
Probably about 280 to 300 million.
So that's as big as the whole United States.
Yeah, as many people in untouchability in India as there are people in the United States, yes.
Now, one of the things that you did over the last 30 days is you contacted a number of people here in the Bay Area, and maybe other parts of the country. I'm not aware of that, but I wanted to ask, what was your intention when you say contacted some of us here in the Bay Area?
Well, first let me say that the Untouchables have been converting to Buddhism for the last 50 years. And so they invited me because I'm a Buddhist teacher, because even though they're Buddhist, they don't have teachers over there. And my role was to go and to give them a sense of connection. Here are people who are trying to work themselves out of what we would consider to be a Jim Crow situation that's been going on for 3,000 years. And they are looking to the world for inspiration, and they believe that the path that African Americans have taken from slavery to civil rights to freedom to President of the United States is a model that they can work with. They have studied us very deeply. They know about George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, the Kennedys, Dr. King, Malcolm X. They know all these people. They've studied the books, but they've never actually talked to an African American, particularly someone from Oakland. And they also have there the Dalit Panthers, which they modeled after the Black Panther Party. So Oakland is a very important sign of hope for
beacon,
them.
yeah.
Yes, it's a beacon. And so they asked me to do a workshop, and I said, well, instead of me being over here by myself doing a workshop, why don't I hook you up on Skype and let you talk to some people from Oakland, people who have been around it, seen it, know it, and you can just have a conversation with them and get beyond the books and know that these are real people and that they care. And once they really understand what's going on here, they may even be able to lend some support. And that's why I call some of my friends, of course, at Oakland Is, because Oakland Is a pivotal media opportunity in the community that has covered all the stories of this recent and past history. So to have people from Oakland Is talk to the untouchables of India was a bridge that I could make as a result of my Buddhist life, and I did it.
Yeah. I was going to ask you one of the questions that the group who I had a chance to speak to, and your question was very pointed around Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. So somehow the struggle is either similar or somehow they can take or extract, but the equivalent of the Malcolm X or the Martin Luther King as an untouchable is who?
Well, they have a gentleman whose name is Ambedkar, A-M-B-E-D-K-A-R, Ambedkar. And in 1956, he told the untouchables that in order for you to get out of the caste system, which is basically part of the Hindu religion, you must convert to Buddhism. And he called a meeting. And when he did, 500,000 people showed up and converted to Buddhism in one day.
I was going to say, at one time?
Yeah, at one time. And then the next day, 200,000. And the next day, 300,000, and went on and on. Unfortunately, he died shortly thereafter. But the people have held his instruction to get themselves out of Hinduism into Buddhism until this day, and they're still to this day, on the same date that those people converted, 1 million people show up to convert every year. His contribution to their people is not only social justice, he gave them something much more deeper that we can learn from. When he told people that needed to convert to Buddhism, he was ensuring that the children of the future would not have anger as a modality of social change, that they could change their situation without using anger as a tool, because the vestige of anger multi-generationally in and of itself creates a problem in the youth.
So my sense as I'm feeling is that you see that change is on the horizon, that there is the possibility that change can come to the untouchables. Is that spirit? I mean, what is that you believe? I mean, because this is bigger than you, and it's bigger than me, and all the things. But the time, is the time right also?
Well, just like the South Africans or the people who are the victims of blood diamonds, the untouchables are people who are reaching out to the world, and I have not seen the world not respond to human deprivation in a way that was uplifting and cataclysmic to people who would try to keep that kind of system intact. And so yes, there's change afoot, and this particular interview is part of that change. We're talking about it. We're not knowing about it anymore. We see those people, we understand what's going on, and we would not want our mother, our daughter, our father, our brother, or our son to go through what they go through.
You know, the human condition around the world, I'm thinking of Egypt, I'm thinking of Libya, I'm thinking of Bahrain, of Yemen. I mean, the time is now.
There is change in the air, but I think we have to be careful, because there's change that has the agent of violence and anger, which does create change, but it also has an aftermath that has to be dealt with. This change with the Untouchables is a peaceful change. It's a smart and intelligent change, not only investing in change of today, but also trying to forestall some of the unforeseen problems of the future when anger sets its seed in the hearts of your children.
You know, I'm reminded that one thing that Malcolm X said, he says that if they step on a brother's foot in Nigeria, you should be yelling in Harlem, meaning that there's a connectivity in the human family.
Sure.
And I'm thinking about the Oakland Is family.
Yeah.
What can they do to support this change?
I think anybody who lends their talents to creating a voice for the most oppressed people in the history of humanity, anything that you do is a contribution. I think, too, that raising awareness about things such as, who is the Hindu community here in our country, and just simply having dialogue with them about, what do they feel about the caste system? Do they feel it's right? Do they think it should continue? Do they think that our money, our tax dollars, our purchases, our wonderful IT industry should be sending money back to support the oppression of people who deeply wish to get out? So on the one level, this interview, as I said, and lending talents to continuing this dialogue and talking to our Hindu friends about what's going on in their country.
Yeah, I was thinking that there's an awareness factor that people had no idea, now they're more aware, and that there are things that we can do to protest, to stand up, to fight for what we believe in. And I want to ask you as a kind of a closing question, your work has been phenomenal over the last 10 years that we've known each other, but clearly what motivates you to do this kind of work?
I am a ghetto boy. I came from a very difficult community, killing, shooting, drugs, and I want people to know that you're not defined by where you come from, you're defined by where you're going, and you can live a life that is not what you were born into. And so I don't want to just talk about that, I want to be a living example of it, and that's just been my goal.
So now I know that you have to charge your batteries and get your rest. Where is your home now, and how do you find solace? And I guess there's that unknown, that reservoir that allows you to get back up and put one foot in front of the other to get back out there in the game of life. Where are you at?
I have invested deeply in making sure that the people close to me know that I love them. And when I get my batteries run down, all I have to do is sit still. And so much love comes back to me that I don't even have to worry about charging batteries. I can just simply be, where I am at the moment. So I think that love, understanding what the reciprocity of love is in an intimate way with the people that you're closest to is the way that I maintain myself.
I want to thank you for coming on the show, and let's continue this. Let's stay in touch. I know that you have some ideas that may result in productions here in the Bay Area, maybe getting a chance to go over there, maybe writing something of original, authentic work that may make a difference, may make a big change. So just want to say anything that you want to leave our audience to think about.
I want, on behalf of all of my friends in Mumbai, Pune, Aurangabad, and all the villages and towns in India that I visited, I want to say thank you to the Oakland Is crew. Thank you to Oakland, and thank you to America for being the nation that we are, that has allowed us to become the people that we know we are. And let's just keep moving forward, doing what we do well.
Thank you for your comments, and this is Michael Lange with Oakland Is, and here we are at the wonderful Jack London Square at Scott's Restaurant, and we'll see you next time. So long.